Hey guys, so remember, October is National Disability Awareness, and what we are going to be doing for that is reading Wonder. So I am going to read the first 15 pages, and at the end I am going to ask you a question, and that is going to be your discussion post question. Alright, let's begin. Wonder. Part 1. August. Fate smiled and destiny laughed as she came to my cradle. That was a quote by Natalie Merchant. Wonder. Ordinary. I know I'm not an ordinary 10-year-old. I mean, sure, I do ordinary things. I eat ice cream. I ride my bike. I play ball. I have an Xbox. Stuff like that makes me ordinary, I guess. And I feel ordinary inside. And I know ordinary kids don't make other ordinary kids run away screaming at playgrounds. I know ordinary kids don't get stared at wherever they go. I wonder if I found a magic lamp and if I found a magic lamp and I could have one wish, I would wish for that I had a normal face and that no one would ever notice at all. I would wish that I could walk down the street without people seeing me, and that doing that look away. That did make sense, did it? Okay. I would wish that I could walk down the street without people seeing me, and then doing that look away thing. So he's talking about he walks down the street and people stare at him so that they don't think that, so they don't act like they're staring at him, right? Here's what I think. The only reason I'm not ordinary is that no one else sees me that way. But I'm kind of used to how I look now. I know how to pretend I don't see the faces people make. We've gotten pretty good at that sort of thing. Me, Mom, Dad, Via. Actually, I take that back. Via's not good at it. She gets really annoyed when people do something rude. Like, for instance, at one time on the playground, some older kid made some noises. I don't even know what the noises were exactly, but I didn't hear them myself, but Via heard, and she just started yelling at the kids. That's the way she is. I'm not that way. Via doesn't see me as ordinary. She says she does, but if I were ordinary, she wouldn't feel like she needs to protect me as much. Mom and Dad don't see me as ordinary. They see me as extraordinary. I think the only person in the world who realizes how ordinary I am is me. My name is August. By the way, I won't describe what I look like. Whatever you're thinking is probably worse. Whew. Why I didn't go to school. Next week, I start 5th grade. Since I've never been to real school before, I'm pretty much totally and completely petrified. People don't think I haven't gone to school because of the way I look. But it's not that. It's because all the surgeries I've had. 27 since I was born. The bigger ones happened before I was even 4, so I don't remember those. But I've had 2 or 3 surgeries every year since. Some big, some small. And some because I'm little for my age and I have some other medical mysteries that the doctors never really figured out. The last surgery I had was 8 months ago, and I probably won't have to have any more for another couple of years. Mom homeschooled me. She used to be a children's book illustrator. She draws really great fairies and mermaids. Her boy stuff, not so hot. She once tried to draw me a Darth Vader, but ended up looking like some weird mushroom-shaped robot. I haven't seen her draw anything in a long time, and I think she's too busy taking care of me and Via. I can't say I always wanted to go to school because that wouldn't be exactly true. What I wanted was to go to school, but only if I could be like every other kid in the school. I have lots of friends and hang out after school and have lots of friends and hang out, stuff like that. I have a few really good friends now. Christopher's my best friend, followed by Zachary and Alex. We've known each other since we were babies, and since they've always known me, that's why I am. That's the way I am. They're used to me. When we were little, we used to have play dates all the time. But when Christopher moved to Bridgeport, Connecticut, that was more than an hour away from where I live in North River Heights, which is at the top of Manhattan, and Zachary and Alex started going to school. It's funny. Even though Christopher is the one who moved away, I still see him more than Zachary and Alex. They all have new friends now. If we bump into each other on the streets, they're still nice to me. They always say hello. I have other friends too, not as good as Christopher and Zach and Alex were. For instance, Zach and Alex always invite me to birthday parties when we were little, but Joel and Emma and Gabe never did. Emma invited me once, but I haven't seen her in a long time, and of course I always go to Christopher's birthday. Maybe I've been making too big a deal about birthday parties. I like when Mom tells this story because, how I came to life. I like when Mom tells this story because it makes me laugh so much. It's not funny in the way of a joke, but when Mom tells it, Via and I start cracking up. So when I was in my mom's stomach, no one had any idea I would come out looking the way I did. Mom had Via 4 years before, and that had been such a walk in the park, Mom's expression. That there was no reason to run any special tests. About 2 months before I was born, the doctors realized there was something wrong with my face. But they didn't think it was going to be bad. They told Mom and Dad I had a cleft palate and some other stuff going on. They called it small anomalies. There are 2 nurses in the delivery room that night, when I was born. One was very nice and sweet. The other, Mom said, did not seem at all nice or sweet. I had very big arms, and here comes the funny part. She kept farting. Ew. She'd bring Mom some ice chips and then fart. The nurse is nasty. She'd check Mom's blood pressure and fart. Mom says it was unbelievable because the nurse never said excuse me. She's rude. Meanwhile, Mom's regular doctor wasn't on duty that night, so Mom got stuck with some cranky kid doctor, and Dad nicknamed him Doogie after some old TV show. They didn't actually call him that to his face, but Mom says even though everyone in the room was kind of grumpy, Dad kept making her laugh all night. When I came out of Mom's stomach and she said the whole room was quiet, she didn't even get a chance to look at me because the nice nurse immediately rushed me out of the room. Dad was such in a hurry to follow her that he dropped the video camera, which broke into a million pieces. And then Mom got very upset and tried to get out of bed to see where they were going, but the farting nurse put her big arms on Mom and kept her down in the bed. They were practically fighting because Mom was hysterical and the farting nurse was yelling because she wanted her to stay calm. And then they both started screaming for the doctor. But guess what? He had fainted right on the floor. So when the farting nurse saw he had fainted, she started pushing him with her foot to get him to wake up, yelling at him the whole time. What kind of doctor are you? What kind of doctor are you? Get up, get up. And then, all of a sudden, she let out one of the biggest, smelliest farts in all of history. Mom thinks, actually, that fart was kind of woke up the doctor. Anyway, when Mom tells the story, she acts out all the parts, including the farting noises. And it's so funny. Mom says the farting nurse turned out to be a very nice woman. She stayed with Mom the whole time, didn't leave her side even after Dad came back when the doctors told him how sick I was. Mom remembers exactly what the nurse whispered in her ear when the doctor told her I probably wouldn't live the night. Everyone born of God overcometh the world. And the next day after I had lived through the night, it was that nurse who held Mom's hand even when they brought her to meet me for the first time. Mom says by then they had told her all about me. She had been preparing herself for seeing me. But she says that when she looked down at my teeny mushed up face for the first time, all she could see was how pretty my eyes were. Mom is beautiful that way. Dad is handsome. Via is pretty, in case you're wondering. Christopher's house. Christopher was really bummed. I was really bummed when Christopher moved away 3 years ago. We were both 7 around then. We used to spend hours playing with our Star Wars action figures and dueling with our lightsabers. I miss that. Last spring we drove over to Christopher's house in Bridgeport, and me and Christopher were looking for snacks in the kitchen, and I heard Mom talking to Lisa, Christopher's mom, about going to school in the fall. I had never heard her mention school before. What are you talking about? I said. Mom looked surprised, like she hadn't meant for me to hear that. You should tell him what you're thinking, Isabel. Dad said he was on another side of the living room talking to Christopher's dad. We should talk about this later, said Mom. No, I want to know what you're talking about, I answered. Don't you think you're ready to go to school, Augie? Mom said. No, I said. I don't either, said Dad. Then that's it. Case closed. I shrugged, and I sat in her lap like I was a baby. I just think you need to learn more than I can teach you. Mom said, come on, Augie. You know how bad I am at fractions. What school? I said. Already felt like crying. Preacher Prep. Right by us. Wow, that's a great school, Augie, said Lisa, patting me on my knee. Why not Via School? I said. That's too big, Mom answered. I don't think that would be a good fit for you. I don't want to, I said. I admitted. I made my voice sound a little babyish. You don't have to do anything you don't want to, Dad said, coming over, lifting me out of Mom's lap. He carried me over to sit on his lap, on the other side of the sofa. We won't make you do anything you don't want to. But it would be good for him, Nate, Mom said. Not if he doesn't want to go, said Dad, looking at me. Not if he's not ready. I saw Mom look at Lisa, who reached over to squeeze her hand. You guys will figure it out, she said to Mom. You always have. Let's talk about this later, said Mom. I could tell that she and Dad were going to get into a fight about it. I wanted Dad to win the fight, though part of me knew Mom was right. The truth is, she's really terrible at fractions. Driving. It was a long drive home. I fell asleep in the back seat like I always do. My head on Via's lap like she was my pillow. A towel wrapped around my head, around the head of the seatbelt so I wouldn't drool all over her. Via fell asleep too. Mom and Dad talked quietly about grown-up things that I didn't care about. I don't know how long I was sleeping, but when I woke up, there was a full moon outside the car, and it was a purple night. We were driving on a highway full of cars, and then I heard Mom and Dad talking about me. We can't keep protecting him, Mom whispered to Dad. We can't just keep pretending that he's going to wake up tomorrow and isn't going to have to face his reality. Because it is Nate. And we have to help him learn to deal with it. We can't keep avoiding the situation that... So sending him off to school, to middle school, like a lamb to be slaughtered, Dad answered angrily. But he didn't even finish his sentence because he saw me in the mirror looking up. What's a lamb to slaughter? I asked sleepily. Go back to sleep, Augie, Dad said softly. Everyone will stare at me at school. I suddenly started crying. Honey, Mom said. She turned around in the front seat, put her hand on my head. You know, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. But we spoke to the principal there, and he told him about you, and he really wants to meet you. How funny you are, and how kind and smart. When I told him that you read Dragon Rider when you were 6, he was like, wow, I have to meet this kid. Mom, did you tell him anything else? I said. Mom smiled. She smiled kind and hugged me. I told him you had all your surgeries and how brave you are, she said. He knows what I look like? I asked. Well, we brought pictures from last summer in Montauk, Dad said. We showed him pictures of the whole family, and that great shot of you holding the flounder on the boat. You were in it too? I have to admit, I felt a little disappointed that he was a part of this. We both talked to him. Yes, Dad said. He was really a nice man. You'd like him, Mom added. Suddenly, I felt like they were both on the same side. Wait, so when did you meet him? I said. He took us on a tour of the school last year, said Mom. Last year? So you've been thinking about this for a whole year and you didn't tell me? We didn't know if you would get in, Augie, said Mom. It's a very hard school to get into. There's a whole admission process. I didn't see the point of telling you and having you get all worked up about unnecessarities. But you're right, Augie. We should have told you when we found out last month that you got in, said Dad. In hindsight, sighed Mom. Yes, I guess. Did that lady come to the house that had something to do with this? I said. That one that gave me that test? Actually, yes, said Mom, looking guilty. Yes, You told me it was an IQ test, I said. I know. Well, that was a white lie, she answered. It was a test you needed to take to get into school. You did very well, by the way. So you lied, I said. A white lie, but yes, sorry, she said, trying to smile. But when I didn't smile back, she turned around and faced forward. Was a lamb to the slaughter, I said. Mom sighed and gave Dad a look. I shouldn't have said that, Dad said, looking at me in the rearview mirror. It's not true. Here is the thing. Mommy and I love you so much. We want to protect you in any way we can. It's just sometimes we want to do it in different ways. I don't want to go to school, I said, folding my arms. It would be good for you, Augie. Maybe I'll go next year, I answered, looking out the window. This year's better, Augie, Mom said. You know why? Because you're going into the 5th grade. And the first year of middle school for everyone. So you'd only know. You won't be the only new kid. I'll be the only kid looking like me, I said. I'm not going to say it won't be a big challenge for you. But you know that, she answered. But it'll be good for you. You'll make lots of friends. You'll learn things you'll never learn with me. She turned in her seat again and looked at me. When we took the door, you know what they said about their science lab? A little baby chick that was just hatching out of his eggs. It was so cute, Augie, and actually reminded me of when you were a baby with those big brown eyes of yours. I usually love when they talk about me when I was a baby. Sometimes I want to just curl up into a teeny ball and let them hug me and kiss me all over. When I was a baby, not knowing stuff, but I wasn't in the mood for that now. I don't want to go. How about this? Can you at least meet Mr. Tulselman before making up your mind? She asked. Mr. Tulselman, I said. He's the principal. Mom answered. Mr. Tulselman, I repeated. That's right, Dad answered, smiling and looking at me in the rearview mirror. Can you believe that name, Augie? I mean, who on earth would ever agree to a name like Mr. Tulselman? I smiled even though I didn't want to let them see me smile. Dad was the one person in the world who could make me laugh no matter how much I didn't want to laugh. Dad always made everyone laugh. Augie, you should go to the school just so you can hear the name over the loudspeaker, Dad said excitedly. Can you imagine how funny that would be? Hello, ping, Mr. Tulselman. He was using a fake high old lady voice. Hi, Mr. Tulselman. I see you running a little behind today. Did your car get rear-ended again with that bum rap? What's a bum rap? I started laughing, not even because I thought he was being funny, but because I wasn't in the mood to stay mad anymore. It could be worse, though, Dad continued in his normal voice. Mom had a professor in college called Mrs. Butt. Is this for real? I said. Roberta Butt, Mom answered, raising her hand as if to swear. Bobby Butt. She had huge cheeks, said Dad. Neat, said Mom. What? She had big cheeks, that's all I was saying. Mom laughed and shook her head at the same time. Hey, I know, said Dad. Let's fix them up. On a blind date, can you imagine? Oh, it's not Tosselman. I made a mistake. This is even funnier. Uh, Miss Butt meet Mr. Tushman. Mr. Tushman, here's Miss Butt. They could get married and have a bunch of tushies. Poor Mr. Tushman, said Mom, shaking her head. Who's Mr. Tushman? Via said groggy. She just had woken up. He's the principal of my new school, I answered. Okay, that's where we're going to leave off today. And so your discussion question is, why do you think August is afraid to go to school? And why do you think he didn't describe himself to us? Why don't you think he described himself, and why do you think he's afraid to go to school? I can't wait to see your answers.